Hello and welcome back to the Limited Edition USF 2000 League. We're here at a track that the drivers love and the commentators hate because it's got loads of corners and loads of letters in the name. We're here at Rudskogen. My name's Mark and joining me in the commentary booth today we've got Steve. How you doing, Steve?
I'm great, thank you, Mark. It's great to be back. I personally don't like this track, but we'll see how the lads in the single-seaters get on with it.
Yeah, I've driven around here in a GT3 car and they're just too big for this tiny little track, but I think in these little USF 2000 cars they're nimble enough that I reckon this track might actually be quite fun.
Definitely. We'll have to see how the front runners get on. I think it's a reverse grid in the second race, so we'll see how everybody's coping with that as well.
It is top 8 reversed, as we see a couple of new guys joining us into the league tonight. We've got Michael Tyburn and Russell Bright joining us for the first time here in the USF League, so a huge welcome to them. And as we see qualifying results, we've got that similar duo from last time. We've got Malarin and Hugavin up the front. Although Malarin 6/10 to the good. That must have been an absolutely stonking lap.
Massive lap. Yeah, huge.
As we see, Tyburn is doing quite well to put it on third on his debut. And they're underway. Short run to the line for the safety car. The safety car will peel off just after this corner. Got a 15 lap race.
I noticed today we're missing Gareth Winslade, who's I think in Kenya.
Indeed, he's in Kenya at the moment. As we see the safety car come in, and we are racing at Rudskogen. Joe Malarin from pole position keeps onto his lead. Doesn't look like he's going to be hounded into turn one. As we see Hugavin and Tyburn look like they might go side by side into the first corner, but Hugavin hangs on. As we see now everyone running down to turn 4. It's a very tricky right-hander, quite long. And I reckon we might see a couple of people spin out here, because especially on cold tyres, it's such a tricky corner. It looks like everyone's made it around turn 1. Okay. Will they make it through turn 4? Here we go. Everyone looks like they're behaving. That was very civilised through there, the first lap.
All single file. Looking as though they're all getting around the first lap, heating them tyres up.
Exactly, as we see Malarin hang on to his lead. At the last race at Road Atlanta, we saw Malarin and Hugavin sprint away at the front in the first race. So let's see if they're going to do the same thing again this race. So we see Tyburn there in third, hanging on quite well. Dropping a few tenths to the two guys at the front, Malarin and Hugavin, the Wizards of Lifton Coast. As we see, yeah, everyone's had a very civilised first lap.
As Forrest has just dropped off the back of this group here. Lost a toe there.
Yeah, as have Costa and Schooling. So we'll see if they can catch back up. But more importantly, are we going to see Hugavin and Malarin fight, or are they just going to sort of play a bit of follow the leader for a little bit until they get warmed up?
I think the sensible bit would be to just try and break away from the pack and then leave it for the last several laps and then try and have a battle then.
That would definitely be the sensible thing to do, but you never know. Egos might run wild, they might get a bit carried away. It's a very tight and twisty track here. There's only a couple of sort of real overtaking opportunities. To be honest, it's the same at Road Atlanta now. As we see Malarin and Hugavin already starting to sprint away from Tyburn, who looks like he might have some internet connectivity issues. I think I saw him blinking a little bit on the grid, and he keeps on dropping down the order on the standings board on the left-hand side, only to reappear.
Bright made his way up to 5th place now.
Indeed, as we see Kelly drop down to 8th. I'm not sure what happened there, because he was certainly up further towards the front of the field at the end of the first lap, so I don't know if he had a little mini spin or something like that. Very easy to do, especially cold tyres. So let's see if he can make his way back through to the front. Because last race at Road Atlanta, we had Gareth Winslade did an absolutely amazing job at climbing through the field in both races, actually. I think he started both races in 5th or 6th and charged through to get a double podium.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race for Gareth.
It was indeed, and just shows that with these cars it is still possible to overtake. So, of course, Gareth Winslay's last race did the double podium. We are yet to see a double winner. I say yet to see a double winner, this is only the second round. But, as we see a replay, maybe we're going to see what happened to Kelly. Looks like we are going to see what happened. He went for a move on Bright. He looks like he's got the move done. So then, what happened? Did he just lose it? Oh yeah, he went a little too wide. That would have been an immediate slowdown for him. As we see this from another angle, look like he might have cut the corner into turn 2 as well. Oh no, there's the spin. Oh, and he's just clipped the wall as well. Oh, he'll be kicking himself for that. It was so easy to do out of that corner.
I don't think there was that much damage to the front of the car. It looked as though it just kissed it, although he's going into the pits. Maybe it's a fast repair.
Yes, of course, there's no pit stop in these races, so that will have to be for damage. So that's going to put him quite a way back, I'm afraid.
Malarin's now broken the toe with Hugavin.
Has he indeed?
He's pulled out a nice little lead.
Indeed, it's up to 1.7 seconds as Hugavin drops into the clutches of Tyburn. And yeah, Hugavin, not quite sure what happened there. Maybe he just sort of had a little mini half spin or something. Maybe you got to slow down. Slowdowns at this track are absolutely unforgiving. You go slightly too wide and yeah, you get penalised for it. So
I think virtually every corner's got a slowdown on it.
I think you might be right there, yeah. As we see now, Kelly, 21 seconds off the back of Schooling. He will be kicking himself for that. Let's hope he can catch up the field. Of course, no safety cars or anything to get him that time back. As we see Eric Piercy up to 4th. And it looks like he's starting to cling onto the back of Tyburn. Let's see if he can have a go and get an overtake done, get up into the top 3. Eric, of course, did get the reverse grid pole for the second race at the last round at Road Atlanta. And for the first part of the race, he was leading an epic, thrilling 3-way battle for the lead.
Malari's just set a fastest lap of 1:18.2.
That is rapid. As we see, looked like Tyburn was getting a little squirrely through turn 4 there. And yeah, Hugavin just doesn't look like he's got an answer to Malarin's pace.
Not at all. It's so close for the battle for second, but it looks as though Malarin's just run away with it at the moment.
Yeah, it looks that way. And, well, as we saw with the last race at Road Atlanta, Malarin stuck it on pole, won the first race, but then had a bit of a disastrous second race. So, yeah, fingers crossed for him that he can have a more successful second round in this race. As we see Russell Bright there just dropping slightly off the back of the leading quartet. Russell, of course, has a YouTube channel. Russell has a YouTube channel, Xtrick Racing. Be sure to check that out. See Chris Forrester come around the final corner to begin lap number 6. He is in 6th position. As we see now, the lead at the front, Malarin's gap has extended to 3.3 seconds. That's an absolutely blistering run of first 6 laps for him. As we see a change for 8th position, Kelly has got ahead of Schooling. As we see them just now coming onto the final corner, onto the pit straight to begin lap 6.
Still very close for second. There's a gap now forming between all the rest of the cars behind them. Obviously Kelly 29, nearly 30 seconds behind Costa.
Yes, but Kelly already up to 8th after that unscheduled pit stop, so it'll be very interesting to see if he can recover. I think, yeah, as we've already touched on a couple of times, slowdowns here, and it's quite low grip. It's very easy for someone to spin out of a corner or get slowed down and lose a few seconds. As we see Michael Tyburn again dropping out. So yeah, I hope that he manages to keep the connection up through the entire race.
It can be quite distracting as well when a car disappears off the track and then reappears somewhere.
Yeah, certainly if you're trying to race someone wheel to wheel and yeah, they keep on blinking in and out, it's not ideal. As we see Hoogeveen now, a lot of clear road ahead of him, which he will not be enjoying seeing Malarin just drive away from him.
I think he's now got to try and concentrate on breaking the toe between himself and Tyburn and Pusey.
I think so, yeah. He looks like he's got the pace to stay ahead. It's just, yeah, you don't want anyone in that danger zone of sort of 0.6 to a second where sort of a slight lock up, you know, running slightly too wide on a corner, a little bit of wheel spin, and they're going to be right on you, attacking you.
That's it.
Well, having said that, Tyburn looks like he's dropped a few tenths.
I'm just wondering something's happened between Tyburn and Pusey, because they both dropped such a way behind Hoogeveen now.
Yeah, I was looking at them. PRC with a 120.8, Tyburn with a 120 dead. Yeah, they just... When Malarin was setting, what was it, a 1 minute 18 earlier?
It, yeah.
Or as we see Costa getting a little loose through the final corner. That is a very tricky corner. A rather tricky braking zone just as you come out of turn 13. You've got to be straight on the brakes for turn 14. It's very easy to just have the rear end just come around on you there.
Several drivers putting in fastest laps of for their race at the moment, so obviously the tyres have come in and the fuel load started to drop off as well.
Yes, exactly. And saying that, if we look at Kelly setting a 1 minute 20 dead, he's closed the gap to Costa to just 23 seconds. A couple of laps ago it was 30 seconds. So
yep.
Yeah, he's certainly got the pace. It's just whether he's got the time remaining to do anything with it, as we are now more than halfway through this race. It's a 20-minute race, and we are 10.5 minutes through it already.
I mean, at the moment, it looks good for the second race for Kelly, due to the fact that it's a top 8 reversal, so he will go straight onto pole.
Yes, of course, and you can see he's really pushing hard. He goes slightly wide on the exit of 4 there, through these S's. Yeah, and as we see the gap come down to 22 seconds, I think that pit stop was just a little bit too costly.
Yeah, I think so.
But
what you don't want to do is you don't want to lose it into one of the corners, spin it and wreck your race as well, though.
Exactly. But then this is setting us up quite nicely for the second round, as you say, with the reverse grid, Steve.
That's it. And once again, Malarin and Hoogeveen are going to have to come through the pack.
Exactly, and we saw, well, both of them did really well in the first race, but yeah, just made quite a few errors in that second race and trying to get through the pack.
That's it.
I mean, we know that they're both incredibly quick drivers. Hoogeveen, of course, the reigning Formula 3 champion. Malarin as a former Club 1500 Formula 3 champion, and did put a title challenge together for the Formula 3 championship last year. So they both know how to drive these single-seaters.
Oh, they've certainly got talent there with the cars that they drive.
Yeah, so I wonder if it's maybe a case of getting a little too impatient, maybe. As we see, Hoogeveen now has just slashed a second out of that lead. Well, a little over a second. It was up at 5 seconds. Exactly. Yeah, looks like as fuel's burning off, tyres rubbering in. As we see a replay, what's happening here? Chris Forrester in 6th. Oh, just got a little too tail happy out of turn 12. Little kiss at the wall, but I think he should be okay with that.
Yeah, they don't look as though there's much damage on the back of the car, so I think it's just a quick tap and away you go.
Yeah, I think what that has done though is dropped him quite a way behind Russell Bright and closer to the clutches of Costa. So yeah, we'll certainly keep an eye out for that, as we see Kelly doing another his personal best. It's 1:19.9, another driver into the 19s. And yeah, he's clawed a few seconds back on Costa. As we see Malarin now. Gap staying relatively steady at 3.5 seconds. I wonder if he's maybe just easing off a bit. Don't want to make a mistake. And what's happened to Russell? Right, yeah, again, it's traction on the exit of corners. It's so brutal here. So easy to just get a little too throttle happy. And the rear end comes around.
That's it. You've just got to be so patient, and you feel as though you want to put the throttle down to get the acceleration out of the corner, but the slightest misjudgment of that, and the tail comes straight round as Russell comes into the pits.
Yeah, so he obviously thought that the damage was a little bit too much. So, oh yeah, you can see on board his left hand down. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Such a shame. Such a shame. At least with the fast repair, at least it does limit a little bit of the damage that you've done time-wise.
Certainly, yes, and it looks like he's going to exit the pits right around Kelly. So that could be a very interesting battle in the last few laps.
Very much. I mean, there must be a half a second difference in lap time, so he's got, what, 5 minutes to catch up with 3 seconds.
That might be doable. As we see now, not quite sure what's happened to Hugavin. The gap to Malarin has opened up, and Taivan is suddenly right on his tail.
Within 2/10.
Exactly, and Taivan just has a little look at diving to the inside, but thinks better of it. He thinks, no, I'm going to wait a minute, be sensible. He gets a super run out of turn 2. Can he have a look into turn 3 and 4? As Hugavin goes defensive. Oh, I think Hugavin got a slowdown.
I think he had a touch there.
I think he might have done, yeah. Let's see if there's any damage. But I'm not quite sure what's happened to Hugavin. Maybe he's overheated his tyres or something, because, yeah, for the past lap or so, he just seems like he's really struggling.
It certainly did appear as though
very sideways.
Yeah, it certainly did appear as though Taivan had clipped the back wheel of Hugavin, though.
Yes, as we now see Pursey fighting with Hugavin. Of course, that's always the danger if you have sort of one of these moments that we've seen with Kelly, with Forrester. If you get if the back end gets a little bit loose, you're just going to overheat your tyres, and if they're already rather warm, then yeah, they're just going to get super heated, and for the next couple of laps, it's like driving on jelly. It's absolutely awful.
Yeah, I was going to say bubblegum, to be honest.
Yes. As we see now, Hugavin's already dropped 2 seconds to Michael Taiban, as we see Pursey again just dart out, having a little look to the inside, thinks better of it. Will he do what Michael Taiban did and go for the run down to 3? Not quite sure if he's going to have the run on this lap. But he's got to act quick if it was Hugavin just overheating his tyres a little bit, because those tyres aren't going to be overheated for too long.
The time stabilised between Bright and Kelly.
Oh, has it? Yeah, still staying at 3 seconds. Oh, we're going to see what's happened to Hugavin here. Yeah, so this is coming through the last corner, turn 14. That all looked very sensible.
Yeah. Oh, this is what
I see. Oh, I think there might have been a little bit of net code there.
Possibly. There was a little lift. Oh! The back wheel certainly moved there.
Yeah. Tell you what, I think it might have been a slowdown penalty, to be honest.
Possibly.
That was... no. Hugavin's got damage.
I would suggest that was the back wheel that was clipped.
Yeah, so it certainly looked like it was just a little bit of net code, but maybe there was a little bit more damage than we thought.
Yeah.
So Hugavin is going to have to pit for repairs, and that puts Pursey up to the podium positions. So that's a brilliant result for him. As we see now, Malarin with a 7.7 second gap up at the front. He's absolutely driving away from the rest of them. As we see, oh, was that Michael Taiban going rather wide? Or was it? No, that was Schooling just getting out of the way for Pursey.
Yeah.
Schooling now a lap down. and is trying his hardest not to get in the way of anyone that's fighting for position. Like an absolute legend. I do appreciate it as a driver when sort of people just make their intentions clear.
Yeah, definitely.
As a lap driver.
And having been in that position where I've been the lap driver, sometimes it is quite difficult to try and read what the driver behind you is doing as well.
Yes, certainly. As we see now, McLaren has just got the white flag indicating final lap of the race, as he now has an 8.5 second lead.
Now, Hoogerveen in the pits, it just depends about how far it's going to drop him down the order.
Exactly. Now, looks like Forrester will probably get him, maybe. Oh, and Hoogerveen's got a speeding penalty as well.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's just going from bad to worse from him. That's a real shame. I'm sure he's going to be kicking himself. So, of course, he's on the last lap, so he won't be able to serve that penalty, I don't think, unless he stays in the pits and serves it now. So we'll see how far down that drops him.
It might work in his favour, you know, if he finishes above Schooling and if he finishes 8th, then it would put him on pole for the second race.
Well, Bright and Kelly have both gone past.
Yep.
And where is Schooling? Schooling is just coming through turn 10 now, looking at the track map. So, yeah, it depends how long this penalty lasts for, as we see Chua Malarin cross the finish line to win race 1 of round 2 of the USF 2000 League, followed by Michael Tyburn, an excellent second position on his debut with a limit of adhesion, and Eric Pusey gets a podium finish. Brilliant drive from all three of them.
For Malarin.
Definitely. So now that'll drop him down to 8th with the reverse grid. So, yeah, let's see if he can work his way through the field from there. As we see Chris Forrester crosses the line in 4th. That was a decent race, Steve.
Yeah,
I think we had Chua Malarin, absolutely amazing performance from him. And we've got Merian Hoogerveen in 8th, who will be starting from reverse grid pole. So I'm sure he'll be aiming to do what Malarin did in race 1 and just start in first, stay in first, just drive away from the field. But he's going to have Gavin Kelly alongside, so that will be easier said than done.
It will. Both Kelly and Hoogerveen have got the ability to be able to, you know, take it from pole or second and win the race. So it'll be interesting to see between them two who comes out on top. Obviously, Russell Bright's directly behind them as well. So first corner should be quite interesting.
Certainly, as we are racing yet again, Hoogerveen, as we suspected, keeps it in first, just driving away from the pack. But it looks like Russell Bright did have a little look at Kelly, but decided better of it. I saw a little bit of smoke at the back.
Yeah, a bit
I think someone just locked the tyres up. As you see, Michael Tyburn has not joined the grid for this race, so we're down to 8 cars racing.
Maybe he's had connection issues like we saw in the first race. It's a bit unfortunate, really.
Indeed. As we see, Russell Bright in 3rd, followed by Roberto Costa 4th, Chris Forrester 5th, but looking very racy right behind him. Looks like he might try and overtake him for too long. But he's going to have to work hard to keep Malarin behind him. As we see Costa going wide, that's going to open the door up for Forrester. And can Forrester make the move stick? No, he locks the wheels. Gets a little bit too tail happy, and he's in the grass. That's a shame.
On the accelerator again.
Yes, certainly with cold tyres. As we see Malarin takes advantage of that, tries to go around the outside of Costa, and they make contact. Both of them off. That let Piercy through into 4th. See, Chua Malarin has managed to recover back onto the road, but I'm not sure if there was any damage to that. As we see, Hoogerveen already got over 1 second gap to Kelly and Bright, who look like they're fighting hard.
Blistering lap pace with the with the cold tyres there from Hugavin, 120 point something.
Yes, that was a dream of a first lap. As we saw Kelly go wide, I think that might have been a slowdown, to be honest. We'll see if he lifts out of it. Chris Forrester recovering well. He's on the back of Costa.
Russell Bright's within half a second now of Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly has stayed ahead, so maybe I was wrong about the slowdown. It looked like he was very wide out of turn 2, but I could be mistaken.
Once again, the field spreading out quite quickly.
It is indeed. As we see, a rather feisty battle for 7th. Chris Forrester tucked up behind Costa. Chris Forrester, well, apart from that little sort of half spin in the first race where he nudged the barriers, he had quite a decent run. I mean, well, saying that, he still managed to finish the race in 4th position, so yeah. I know we didn't really speak a lot about him in the first race, but he actually was showing some decent pace, so I'm sure he's going to want to try and get past Costa before too long.
I mean, normally when you get no mentions in a race, you've had a fairly solid race, but you've just not done anything silly.
Exactly, as we see Malarin with the fastest lap of the race so far, as Costa locks up into turn 1, goes wide. He's lost the place to Forrester. Well. That most likely will be a slowdown. Yeah, you're right. As we see now, can Forrester make it 2 overtakes and 2 corners as he lines up Schooling for a move? Schooling going very wide into turn 3 and 4. He's going wide, and Forrester takes the position on the inside. Right, now he's got a 9-second gap to Malarin. Can he work his way back up the field?
Both Kelly and Bright are right on the tail of Hugavin again.
Indeed they are. In fact, yeah, Kelly only 2/10. He might be fancying a move into turn 1. To go slightly wide into the final corner. Maybe that was a tactical move to try and get the power down a little earlier. We shall see. Is he close enough to have a go into turn 1? I don't think so, to be honest. As we see Malarin now right on the back of Piussi as he sets another fastest lap of the race, a 19.2, nearly a second quicker than Piussi that lap. He is pushing hard to get back to the front. As we see, will he try and move down into turn 3? As we see, Hugavin, Kelly and Bright nose to tail, 6/10 covering all 3 of them. As we see, both Kelly and then Bright going very, very wide into turn 4.
Well, just follow my leader, I think, was that.
I think it might have been. Yeah, it's so easy to do if you're just concentrating so hard on the car in front. You know, if they miss a braking zone, it's so easy to miss it yourself, and then at times even follow them straight off the road. As we see, Malarin still right on the back of Piussi. And it's still follow the leader up front. Hugavin from Kelly. A little bit of a gap to Bright now. I wonder if Bright made a little mistake on that lap. Kelly just will not let Hugavin go. Hugavin, of course, as we've said, reigning Formula 3 champion. He had plenty of wins in that, but actually, 4th race of the season, and Hugavin is yet to take a win. As we have Malarin with 2 wins and Dan O'Hammond getting the other win.
Lock up there for Piussi.
Indeed, and that's let Malarin through. So Malarin now up to 4th and immediately right onto the back of Russell Bright. As the top 2, Hugavin and Kelly, look like they made a bit of a break for it. Oh, Bright getting very, very loose. And Arnie spun. Yeah, so easy to do through turn 4.
Just at the bottom of that corner, if you just get the line slightly wrong and you're heading off wide, it's so easy to get on the dirty stuff on the outside. You've just got to try and slow 100%. Down the best you possibly can.
Definitely. Because it's such a long braking zone, you're braking while cornering as well. You know right from the start if you're going off. As we see there, Hugavin just locking the brakes slightly, getting a little twitchy under braking for turn 12. That's going to put him under pressure from Gavin Kelly.
Kelly's got the slipstream down the front straight, so we'll see if he can pull some more out.
Let's see, yeah, that was a rather... I say a slow lap for Hoogeveen. He was still at 20.2.
Yeah, a bit of a scruffy lap, really.
Yeah. And I'm sure it won't be long now before Malarin is on the back of this train here. Of course, Malarin only 1.8 seconds behind. Did you see a replay of... Yep, this is Russell Bright. And you can see he was starting to lose the rear end. He caught it, but then, yeah, just didn't manage to catch it completely.
So once that back end's gone, it's very rarely you can bring it back up when you're so wide as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very tricky corner.
It's a very technical track, is Roscommon.
It is, definitely. A lot of tight, twisty corners.
Yeah.
There are a few corners where you have one line, and if you deviate slightly from it, you're sort of in the grass or in the wall. So, yeah, testament to the level of skill of the drivers.
And the elevation changes as well. The fact that you're going downhill so quickly, and you get to the bottom.
Yes,
it's
definitely.
such an important braking zone that you need to hit that. Otherwise, your lap and your corner's wrecked.
Certainly, as we see it. Oh, schooling. That is on the run down to turn 3, I think. So yeah, he obviously got a little too trigger happy on the throttle out of 2 and just started to lose the rear end. And I saw there, Tom Malarin on lap 6 was back into the 1 minute 18s. So absolutely blistering pace from him.
Flying.
And he's almost in slipstream from Kelly. So can Malarin do the double? Can Hoogeveen get his first win? Can Kelly get his first win in the USF Series?
So close between the three of them.
It will. I mean, you never know. We might see Piercy's only there in 4th. Like, he's still got a good chance. You know, if the top 3 start fighting. See now Roberto Costa 5 seconds off the back of Forrester.
We're just coming up to halfway through the race now. 19.5 minutes.
Yes, so the leaders have just started lap 8 of 15. So we see the top 3 are just getting closer and closer. Malarin's cut that gap down to half a second now. So here we go, Kelly just trying to hang on to the back of Hoogeveen. As we see Malarin going rather wide. Again through turn 4. It's a bit of deja vu there, cars going wide into turn 4. So easy to just lock the brakes slightly on the run down and braking for turn 3. You've got to sort of start to turn right whilst braking, so yeah, it's very tricky. As we see now Malarin chasing the back of Kelly through the hairpin of turn 10.
Malarin just seemed to carry so much more speed through that last corner where he went slightly wide than Kelly.
Exactly, as we see Kelly just getting a little bit too wide. I think he locked the brakes, and they're going to go too wide into the final corner. Can Malarin keep it round the outside? Oh, that would have been a superb move. He's still there, you know.
He's still there, yes. In that first
and
corner,
that's going to give him.
Past.
Yeah, that's going to give him the inside. Kelly ducks back into the slipstream, knowing that he's lost the position. Now, can Kelly regroup and try and attack down into turn 4? We will see. He needs to get a perfect run out of here. And of course, this fighting is letting Hoogeveen just run away with it. Hoogeveen now with a 1.9 second lead, seemingly out of nowhere. We see coming through turn 4 now, Kelly just wasn't close enough, and now we're getting to the really tight, twisty technical section of the track. I think Kelly might have to resign himself to just regroup, accept that the position is lost, cool down your tyres, mentally reset, and try again. And now
Malaren is very strong through these tight and twisty corners.
He certainly is. And now Malaren will have his sights firmly set on Hugavin. Just 1.7 seconds between them now.
Malaren already broken the toe between himself and Kelly.
I know, he's done that very quickly. I think Kelly might have gotten sort of overheated the tyres a little bit, just run offline a little bit whilst they were fighting. Yeah, as we see a 20.6 for Kelly, whilst Malaren and Hugavin are both in the 19s. So we have 5 laps, 8 minutes, and 1.5 seconds between the leaders. Can Malaren catch up to Hugavin? You know what, I think at this pace, he might just be able to. But of course, as the saying goes, catching is one thing, passing is certainly another.
Very much. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, only straight down to 1.2 seconds now, so he's catching, but it'll be interesting to see over this next couple of laps the difference in lap times.
Certainly, yeah. We've not seen anywhere near as much passing in this round as we saw last round at Road Atlanta. So it's a very tricky track to pass on. So even if Malaren does have the pace, he's got to get track position. As we see Schooling about to go a lap down. Will lapped traffic play any role in the fight for first? As we see Malaren again into the 18s.
Between the top two.
Yeah, Malaren.
It was blistering compared to Hugavin.
It was. Malaren's just in a. It seems like he's in a different league.
I mean, a lap and a half ago it was 1.8 seconds. It's now down to half a second.
Yeah, I think Hugavin's feeling the pressure. He was so wide on the entry into 3 and 4, just trying to maximise the width of the track, use every possible inch that he's allowed to, and maybe a few inches more. As we see Hugavin now right in front of Malaren, really feeling the pressure. Although, having said that, I think Malaren might have got a slowdown because he's dropped right off the back.
Yeah, up to 1.5 seconds.
Of course, so easy to get a slowdown here. I find that you always try and play them tactically. You try and lose a little bit of speed in every corner, but it's so hard to get rid of them, so hard to clear them. As we see Hugavin going wide yet again. Not quite wide enough for a slowdown though, I wouldn't have thought. So yeah, 20.8 for Malaren, that was definitely slowdown induced.
I would think so. 19.6 for Kelly.
So Malaren has done it once. Can he do it again with 5 minutes and, well, 2.5 laps to go? Can he do it? So we see Russell Bright now with Schooling up ahead, 3.5 seconds behind PSC as he comes down through 3 and 4. Slowly getting back on the power, and he's going to catch Schooling through the S's. Not ideal. Of course, there's not really anywhere to pass in this tight, twisty section. As we see here, he should get past down to the hairpin. Schooling there, doing the incredibly clever thing and just getting out the throttle a bit on the straight before a corner. Lose the least amount of time with both parties. So yeah, well played there. As we see the gap between our two leaders still staying relatively steady at about 2 seconds. Has Malaren run out of time?
I think it's looking that way. Obviously, anything can happen with slowdowns or anything on the track, but it just looks as though Hugavin's made the break and it's sticking there.
Yeah, it certainly seems like Hugavin's got this one wrapped up, unless Malaren can pull off something incredible in the last couple of laps.
And Forrester with his personal best time of the race.
Yeah, Forrester now 17 seconds behind Russell Bright and 7 seconds ahead of Costa, sort of in a bit of no man's land out on track on his own, to be honest. So yeah, he can just get his head down, put in some decent laps. As we see, oh, looks like Kelly's gone off. What happened there? Hopefully we'll get to see a replay, because that's dropped him behind Piussi. And he's only just in front of Bright. As we see, yeah, there they are on track. Look, Kelly's only a second in front of Bright.
Yep.
So yeah, not sure what happened
to see if there's any damage on the car. I can't see any at the moment. Here we go, real replay.
As we see, oh, there we go. Kelly just getting a little too trigger happy on the throttle, and yeah, he had quite a hard hit into the barriers, to be honest. So, let's see if there's any damage.
Right up his back end now with closed into 4/10 of a second.
Yes, Bright now right on the back of Kelly, and of course Kelly will be suffering a little bit from that. Even if his suspension's alright, he's going to be slow in a straight line, and look at this, just a sitting duck. Can Bright get the move done? I don't think Kelly is going to be able to hang it around the outside of 4. If he does, that would be tremendous, but no, he slots in behind Bright, and Bright looks like he's got the place done, up into 4th. Well done.
Yeah, good result so far for Russell Bright. He's had a solid race, and it's working out for him at the moment.
Yeah, and kudos as well to Eric Piussi. This would be a double podium if he finishes where it is. But saying that, this fight for 4th is certainly not over. As you see, Kelly, okay, he lost the position, but he's hanging with Bright. Let's see if he can hang with Bright around the final corner. He did, yeah. As we see, white flag now for Hugavin. Gap has come down a little bit to Malaren, to just 1.4 seconds, but on the final lap, and frankly, coming down to 4 here is likely to be the last potential overtaking spot. And Malaren nowhere near close enough to have a look. So yeah, Hugavin looks like he's got this wrapped up.
I think this last lap was just a case of management of the time difference between himself and Malaren.
Certainly, yeah. You don't want to keep pushing so hard on the final lap that you end up throwing it all away into the final corner.
Definitely not.
Yeah, all he has to do now is just coast it to the finish line. As we see, Kelly now also dropped off the back of Bright. So, as Hugavin comes around the final corner, looks like it will be a lights to flag victory for Meirin Hugavin. As he comes out of the final corner and across the line, shortly followed by Tuur Malaren. Great comeback for Tuur. He was, what, 8th to 2nd in the end? Good showing from him.
I think it did help with a couple of people falling off the track and making slight mistakes and things like that, which gave him a couple of places in the first place.
Yes, but
he's so quick, it was bound to happen.
Exactly, couldn't quite do the double though. So Meirin Hugavin wins the feature race at Rudskogen from Tuur Malaren. Eric Piussi also on the podium. As we see now, the leaders doing a few donuts to celebrate their victories.
Championship looking interesting again.
Exactly, we've got Malaren and Hugavin up the top. Malaren's got a hefty lead now, 76 points from Hugavin on 54. So, thank you very much for watching. As you can see on the screen, next up we have Long Beach. So, thank you very much for tuning into the Limited Edition. If you fancy racing with us, our Discord links are in the description. Come and say hello. See you next time. Thank you very much, Steve.
It's been a pleasure.
Cool. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.